Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have a 1v1 on Semoskiy Winter, like all the others. Our heroes today are going to be SageOfTheSix, playing for the Germans, and his opponent this time is going to be Peec, playing for the Soviets of the Red Army. So, again, this is from the round of 128 from the Sunday Night Fights tournament, and this is a best of one. SageOfTheSix, the highest I've actually casted at up to this point. He is currently ranked, let me double check that. For the Germans, he's currently ranked 35th at the time of casting this. And Peec is nowhere near that. It actually looks like he doesn't even play 1v1s for that much. So, should be good. As far as the seating goes, we have SageOfTheSix being seated as 25th, and Peec is 104. So a little bit of disparity there, so we shall see how that comes into effect. Now, back to the game. SageOfTheSix already selected his doctrine, and that is the Ostrupen doctrine, so he is getting himself Ostrupen. We can see now 5 Ostrupen on the field. Ostrupen falling a little bit out of favor since the last patch when their capping speed got halved. You can see they're taking a long time to capture territory, but, you know, it's still pretty relatively good to spam them out and, you know, get them out. You know, not the, I guess you could say, highest level of play, but I suppose it's fine for this circumstance. So, Pioneers engaging combat engineers at the beginning. They are going to get supported, per se, by an Ostrupen squad. The Ostrupens, remember, they do get some buff when they get into cover, so, you know, not completely horrible, but being there with the Pioneers on top of them, those combat engineers are going to lose that fight. Peec himself decided to go for a tier 2 opening. Combat engineers do lose that fight. Center of the map, Ostrupen jumping into the house. That is pretty much the popular strategy to do with Ostrupen, since they are very weak at fighting. What you do is pop them into all the houses available, and they are very hard to dislodge, because even though they themselves are weak, they're inside houses, and getting stuff out of houses takes a long time. So yeah, interesting strategy by Peec. He got himself a conscript squad and a second combat engineer with which he is building tier 2. So we shall see what he transitions into that. I mean, Maxim machine guns wouldn't be a bad choice. Ostrupens are very weak and they get ripped to shreds by a Maxim machine gun, so, you know, that could work. Conscripts and Descenders just captured the victory point and decide to move along. They really can't do much against the Ostrupens, so they decide to not waste this time, and they're going over to the right-hand side to capture the victory point as well. So, Peec going for an early cap of the victory points, trying to put some pressure on SageOfTheSix. SageOfTheSix getting himself a second Pioneer squad, probably going to be using it to build his tier 2, which is usually what you expect. He already upgraded Escalate Battle Phase 1, so yeah, we can probably expect the Ostrupen spam to half-track, which will allow him to keep those on the field and reinforce on the fly. Combat engineers for Peec on the right-hand side, and Peec hasn't actually gotten himself anything from tier 2. He got himself a second conscript squad that is just hitting the field right now, sending all his infantry to the right-hand side. And he has his conscripts already on the field, just capturing territory on the right. So he's going to focus on the south, and that's going to concede the center of the map for SageOfTheSix, it looks like. And the Ostrupens just capturing around as much as they can. Ostrupen crossing the river. They are going to run into some conscripts. These combat engineers doing some work against these Ostrupen. Have them down by 1 man, but the conscripts following behind are going to be the ones to put the hurt on there. If he had a Molotov landing there would be quite juicy. Ostrupen tend to incinerate. They, their armor is coated in a little bit of fuel or kerosene, and they, you know, they go up in flames pretty quickly. Center of the map pretty much captured, and it's completely captured by SageOfTheSix, is what I'm trying to say. Ostrupen running into the house like Ostrupen do. Ostrupen over here in heavy cover, so getting that buff. Again, I forget what the buff is. What is it? I forget exactly what the buff is. You should say it around there, but it doesn't say it right now. So anyways, 3 Ostrupen squad opening up on conscripts actually managed to finally output some decent amount of damage and force that conscript out of the field. Combat engineers do tank it a little bit more, decap that fuel, and move along their way. But center of the map, we see Ostrupen all over the place. And we now have a half-track on the field for SageOfTheSix, which is just on the field, probably, yeah, getting upgraded right away with that flamethrower. So that is going to put the herd on Peec right away. So once again, Peec getting himself another conscript squad, so he's now up to 4 conscript squad, which, I mean, it's not bad. That's fine. Conscripts are very capable of fighting against Ostrupen, but he built this tier 2 very early on and hasn't gotten anything out of it. Not sure if I agree with that. Maxim machine gun, you know, costs just as much as a conscript squad, basically, and like I said, would probably do a lot against the Ostrupen squad. Oh well. Half-track on the field, engaging conscripts. The conscripts getting roasted alive, retreating down to 3 men, but it looks like they're going to make it out alive. And the half-track is going to pursue a little bit, but I don't think they're going to die. Combat engineers are down to 2 men, however, those might actually get picked out by the half-track if they are not careful. Down to 1 man on the retreat to that conscript squad. The Ostrupen trying as hard as they can to shoot, but they never actually got trained on how to shoot the rifle accurately. They just know how to press the trigger, and he makes it out alive. Conscripts getting burned alive by that half-track. Down to 4 men. They're getting pushed around by the half-track as well. Flamethrower going to town. Down to 2 men. Down to 1. That conscript squad is dead. Is he going to retreat it? He does retreat it. The flamethrower goes off. Can he kill it off? And down goes a conscript squad for Peec. So nice pick up there for Sage, allowing him to continue with his momentum. Pioneers coming into the center. Those are pretty much his only combat infantry. The Ostrupen are just bodies on the field. And a Panzer Grenadier squad getting produced for SageOfTheSix. Finally, a actual combat infantry for SageOfTheSix. Ostrupen's just all over the place, capturing territory. We have one on the right, one down south. We have another one crossing the ice, probably going to go for this spot. All the rest of the territory is already in SageOfTheSix possession. He already built a fuel cache on his outside point, or strategic point, so he'll be able to pump out probably some tanks later on. 42 fuel on the income as opposed to 10 for Peec. So, yeah, that's a lot of income on the field. And Peec back at his base now, finally actually putting his tier 2 to work and got himself a Maxim machine gun. So, yeah, this could have actually helped him out a lot earlier on. Now with the half-track on the field, the Maxim machine gun runs the risk of getting flanked and, well, not even flanked. He could actually even go straight up against and getting cleared out by the point. Pioneers building something. I didn't actually catch it. Oh, another fuel cache. Okay. So SageOfTheSix is going heavy on the fuel. Peec is allowing him to do so, conceding the entire map to him pretty much. And the conscripts are pushing towards the fuel. Ostrupen in that house is going to be an annoyance. And the half-track is moving around, going to go against those conscripts and roast them alive. Conscripts do look a little bit cold in the winter, so, you know, a little bit fire can hurt. And the conscript was preparing to throw an 18-8, gets roasted alive, so another guy takes out his own nade and tosses it at the half-track. Pioneers, both Pioneer squads moving towards the half-track will be able to repair it quite quickly, and the conscripts are getting roasted alive. Also going to get chased down by the Panzer Grenadiers. Is that conscript squad going to make it out alive? The Panzer Grenadiers are doing a lot of damage to it on the retreat, but they are not actually shooting at it for some reason. Yeah, well, makes it out alive. Maxim machine gun outside of the Peec space, opening up on Ostrupen in the house, so the Ostrupens are going to take a while to dislodge. And the half-track is getting repaired by both squad quite instantly and is now back up to full strength and with a full engine. Combat engineers over here on this side. Ostrupen capturing territory. Sadly, a little bit of a difference there from the original Semoskiy. This point over here is not defended by the bunker at the base. You would usually see people wire off like a sector so that they would have to get there. I guess you could still do it, but it takes a little bit longer. So anyways, Pioneers looking very fearsome, running across the ice, going up against the conscripts. One of them actually ends up retreating, not exactly sure why. Well, yeah, I actually know why. He's going to go build a tier, probably tier 3. He has a lot of fuel now, up to 190. Half-track pushing forward, and he has a Pioneer squad there for support. Pioneer getting reinforced, so back to full strength. 18-8 going down on the half-track, but the Pioneers are going to repair that quite quickly, and the conscripts just simply back away. Center of the map, conscripts crossing the river. Panzer Grenadiers there to greet them. Panzer Grenadiers going to rip them to shreds. They have no veterancy, so can't really do much against those Panzer Grenadiers. Molotov landing on the Panzer Grenadiers, but the Panzer Grenadiers dodge it quite nicely, and the conscript squad retreats down to 2 men. Up north, Maxim machine gun being used to cap, and the the Ostrupen actually stayed alive in this house down to 1 man. AT gun getting produced by Peec from his tier 2, so that's going to allow him to fend off that half track if he pushes into the center, but for the most part the half track is being used quite mobile and on the edges, so it'll be fine. Still damage on the engine over here. There it goes. Repair starting to be effectuated because SageOfTheSix said, oh wait, I can just move it up and repair it at the same time. Ostrupen moving up to support. And where are all the Ostrupen? Let's see. We have one in this house, one in the church, one down here, other one capturing on the left-hand side, and the other one back at base getting repaired. Tier 3 now up for SageOfTheSix, and let's see what he produces. Probably, I mean, a Flak Panzer wouldn't hurt. Flak Panzer would actually be like the nail in the coffin. Molotov landing on these Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers do have Panzer Shreks. SageOfTheSix anticipating some type of vehicle, but unfortunately for SageOfTheSix there isn't any such vehicle, so those Panzer Grenadiers just cut their anti-infantry capabilities without any reason to. Conscripts going to the north, getting mauled and down to 1 man, and still going north, so the waypoint or queued up movement still in effect. And maybe something is going to try to hunt him down. We have Ostrupen retreating, Panzer Grenadiers pushing onto it, and it might actually capture that fuel point, but pretty sure it's going to die. AT gun for Peec pushing into the center. It's probably going to get shot by those Ostrupen at this point. Is going to shoot at the church, and the 1-man conscript squad is getting shot by the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers not actually managing to kill it off because of their reduced effectiveness against infantry, and the conscript is very lucky to be alive. He is going to run through some pioneers. Wow, can he actually make it out alive? There's a half-track in between. Half-track actually moves past and engages the AT gun. The conscript is still running by. Wow, that is one lucky conscript. He's going to run all the way home at a sliver of health and make it back alive. Wow. Ostrupen over here isn't as lucky and gets shot down by the conscripts and pioneers, combat engineers. AT gun does get decrewed by the half-track. The half-track gains veteran C2, reducing the damage that it takes, so it's going to be a biatch to kill off. And we got conscripts littering the center, probably going to throw an 18-8 on the half-track, but once again with that veteran C2, it's not actually going to die. Another AT gun getting produced by Peec, and yeah, that'll help out. AT gun still here on the field, needs to get recruit. Maxim machine gun going back onto the field, not healed up, not reinforced, down to 3 men, and not being used very effectively as it could. Up north we see a deluge of infantry coming in. Ostrupen jumping into the house just to be there to defend and deter. Ostrupen getting reinforced on the field, probably going to take that AT gun away from Peec. And we now have a Flak Panzer getting produced for SageOfTheSix. Took a while actually to select something, but I guess he doesn't really need to. I think he actually lost another Ostrupen squad. He's down to 4. If I'm not mistaken, he had 6, but, well, they're Ostrupen, they're expendable. It's 120 manpower, so honestly, who cares? So AT gun does get recruited by SageOfTheSix. I'll probably move it around there and just put it in a different position. Second AT gun on the field for Peec. He sets it up right there. Actually could get a nice shot on the half-track, but he doesn't have sight range of it. Pioneers pushing on to the front of Peec's base. Ostrupen capturing territory. And we now see the infantry for Peec over on the right-hand side on the south, moving along. Conscripts are already damaged. Combat engineers as well. So Peec, not a fan of reinforcing. He is up to 300 manpower, so he doesn't have a lot of manpower to choose from. But the Flak Panzer is coming onto the field, and this should spell doom for Peec. I actually don't even think Peec has a chance anymore. He did manage to bleed about 40 points off of SageOfTheSix, but SageOfTheSix now controls the entire map, and Peec is now down to 214 points, triple cap, and with a Flak Panzer barreling down towards his base. Second Flak Panzer could get produced. The Panzer IV could also get produced at the same time. Half-track pushing straight across the center, right in front of that AT gun. It has veteran C2, so it allows it to tank a shot without really any problem. AT gun does get set up in a different angle, maybe, no, it's actually just trying to run away from the half-track, but it's getting burned alive. The conscripts could merge if they want to keep it alive, but it does go down. And the Black Panther is just wrecking all the infantry. The conscripts push forward to get an 18-8 off on the half-track. Second 18-8 could potentially kill it off, but they decide to instead merge with, or well, get the AT gun and not turn it around. So yeah, that's it. That is it. I thought about it. So yeah, well, pretty easy game there for SageOfTheSix. Wasn't really an even match at this point, but that is pretty much the nature of tournaments. At the early games, you'll see a lot of stomps, and then later on, you'll start getting matched up against more equally skilled opponents. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.